I guess Palsteron here, and today let's talk about my day 1 update for the Kinetic Fusillade Ballista Hierophant. I just closed up my day 1 with 3 out of 4 Void Stones, getting around about 90 map out of 100 map completion. And yeah, the build is even better than I thought it would be. It's everything I wanted it to be as we tested, and the placement speed changes are also insane. They are just as crazy as I thought they would be. So yeah, can't really be any more happy. We're going to talk about everything in here. I'm going to give you some extra guidance because I've also learned a lot while playing through this. And there's a few things that Mirage provides you that changes the way I'm going to make the build. So we will go over all of that in this video, and we're going to start off with the placement speed changes. So as of this patch, totems emerge faster the more totem placement speed you have, which is one of the biggest reasons I went with Hierophant. And I just wanted to show you this. This is the video I recorded before league start of the old emerge time. And this is not sped up. This is straight up just 1, right? You can see it right here. And I'm going to show you. So you can see the Ballistas pop up and kind of have like a comparison. New. And I'll quickly show you how it looks like now. I'll just zoom in. It is like, it almost looks comical to a degree. And just to be clear, that is only with the placement speed here. I don't have any on gear. I did not take Totem Exile. I don't have any clusters. I don't know what the hell, but this is completely busted and makes me reconsider a lot of skills that used to be bad on totems because they're too delayed. And they might get into the limelight again, but I digress. Either way, that placement speed change, if you're waiting just for that, if it's as good as I thought it would be, probably even better. But no, it's OP. It feels like a complete different archetype. And like I said, there's a lot to think about here, but I digress. Next up, let's go through the campaign. So I'm going to go through campaign, some gearing tips, and then also Atlas progression. First, I want to talk about Prismweave. So one thing you have to know about this league is there's a lot more currency dropping, and I mean a lot more. I dropped multiple Exalts during campaign. I don't know, like 10 plus Chaos, Annuls. A lot of people told me they dropped like up to 2 Divines during campaign. So the drop rate changes are definitely implemented, which is why something like Prismweave you should buy ASAP. These are with any role. You can get these for 1 or 2 chaos. Just pick them up. This will double your damage if you can get it at level 25, level 30. If you do a little bit of Mirage, you will feel like twink leveling. Once you're on your Wander, of course, it doesn't do anything for your Spellcaster. But either way, Prismweave, pretty OP. Other than that, a nice leveling item as well that I actually found from a Mirage is Lioness Paws because it helps a lot with attributes. So I found this one to be really nice. It has a little bit of flat as well and decent movement speed. After that, some people were confused about where Greater Volley is. It's at the vendor. Not every character gets it, but you can always buy it here. Then we have this Wrath and Anger question that I got constantly because I had Anger in my POB first and now I'm using Wrath. And the reason is mainly because I'm now using Volatility. So instead of elemental damage with attacks, I'm going to use Volatility for quite a while. And that is because I do not currently have my Owl Ascendancy. So as you guys know, as my 4th node, I'm going to take I was going to take the King's Heritage, but it was kind of hard to get an Owl carry at all. And so I just kind of left it on second base. So there's a chance that I'm actually going to go Lightning now. Maybe with Ash of the Storm. It might actually turn out better with King's Heritage, although I would have to get back quite a bit of armor that I will lose from not having the Determination effect. And yes, you get both of these. That was in the patch notes, just FYI. So there's definitely a chance that Ash of the Storms and Synaptic Rings are going to be the way to go, but I'm going to think about that way later. The TLDR is, it doesn't really matter, but Wrath does allow you to use Volatility. But if you use Volatility, which is this one right here, it gives you more maximum, less minimum damage, which doesn't matter because Wrath gives you a very high variety of damage. So for example, it gives you 16 to 248. Scaling down to 16 doesn't really matter. Scaling up to 248 very much matters. But if you do that, you will have to get added lightning damage wherever you can. So you can't really be as choosy as you could if you just go Anger. But either way, it doesn't really matter. Another thing some people were confused about is my crit respec. I have it right here. It's not a big deal. On max roll, it's marked with 1 respec step. But yeah, you go from this to this. And all this does is it removes this middle section for some of the crit nodes that are in here. So for example, up here, you take the Disciple of the Forbidden, the extra +1 power charge, and then you're pathing over to Shaman's Dominion, and you take Disintegration up at the top here. In order to go crit respec, you also want a wand that at least had a little bit of crit. So this, for example, was the wand I've had coming out of campaign. Not the most glorious thing, but this carried me all the way to tier 16s. Then let's go over some gearing tips. First up, for your body armor, once you have a 6 link and it's good enough to be crafted, for example, if you have a sacred chainmail, which is the best possible base, maybe even some quality over 20%, you're going to want to craft it. Now, if you have a 5 links, for example, I had this before, don't invest anything into it. Only if it's a 6 link and only if it's a chainmail. The reason I went with chainmail is because it's way easier on your strength, because some of the top armor bases actually have 290 strength requirement, and the way I respect my tree, it's just not really feasible. Plus, a little bit of energy shield prior to Aegis is quite nice as some extra buffer. So what I did here is just use dense fossils. Make it so you can reforge with more defense modifiers and no life modifiers, which is quite important. You can see right here, not a single life modifier, and that means I can get the mastery. Otherwise, what you can do is you can do reforge defense. The reason I'm mentioning this is because the prices of dense fossils has been going up and up and up, which is what usually happens. So this is a little bit of a cheaper alternative, and just shoot for as much armor and energy shield as possible. If you have a prefix open, you can go for chance to block prefix. Set up your flasks ASAP. Now, as you can see right here, I don't have the perfect prefixes. Charge recovery, duration, they're all not perfect, but they do have armor. They do have crit, reduced effect of curses, and movement speed. And they're all not perfect, and it's all fine, but you want to get them activated on full. The reason you can do it pretty easily in this league is because there's just so much currency dropping, and it just doesn't cost that much. 5 instillings, 5 glass blowers. You will have that in no time. Also put glass blowers onto your flasks so they're actually good, and get that corrupted blood immune on your life flask ASAP as well. Next up, prioritize armor and energy shield on gear. So armor is a big deal. Right now I have with my flasks up, oh yeah, this one. I have 21,000 armor. That is decent. It's nothing crazy, nothing to write home about. I'll get more over time. Right now, I still have Dodres in here. I still have 0 armor on my shield, so it is what it is. But this 20,000 armor is a crazy deal breaker, not just because of why Fizz is going to kill you, but also because of Molten Shell. It gives you quite a bit of extra stats, also against elemental and chaos damage. Plus, it itself grants you some armor. So that is also one of the reasons I was actually leveling Molten Shell. Whereas in endgame, you probably want a as low as possible Molten Shell, so you can proc it as often as possible with cast when damage taken. Also, make sure that you get quality on this ASAP, because it gives increased skill effect duration, which goes against the reduced skill effect duration. And also, don't forget that without Dynamo, your Molten Shell is worth very, very little. And for Energy Shield, the problem with it early is you don't really have any recovery without Aegis. But Aegis is expensive, so that's for later. So what's going to happen is your ES gets destroyed once, and then it just never pops back up, or only a little bit. We don't have any synergy, right? So I know that a lot of POBs are doing this, but it is more... It's not fake, but you don't want to overdo it, is what I'm saying. You want to get a little bit of extra max hit, but more often than not, getting some extra life is just better. That being said, the bases are way easier to craft, and the sockets are way easier to color. So do go for around about, like, I would say like 1,000, maybe 1,500 energy shield on top. And then you already have some gear saved up for later for when you swap to Aegis. Now then we have the Cord Belt, which is one of the new bases this patch, and it says can be anointed. For us, that is a big deal because we have 3 big anoints. We have Surveillance for +1 totem, we have Watchtowers for +1 totem, and we have +1 projectiles, which is a crazy amount of damage because Fusillade scales with the amount of projectiles it gets released in a chain. And I just wanted to say, first up, the reason why I didn't go with another totem and instead I went with the +1 projectile is they're quite similar in terms of damage, right? You do lose a little bit of regen here, but the reason I think this is good is because you don't always have time to place all your totems, so it's kind of fake sometimes, or they die and you have to replace them anyways. This is always up, right? This is burst. And also, your Frenzy will have 3 projectiles, which means you don't have to use Greater Volley to not make it fork out, because otherwise it forks out and it doesn't really go where you want it to go, which is super annoying. But with an uneven amount of projectiles, that isn't the case anymore because there's always a straight projectile flying out. Now, the way I crafted this belt is pretty simple. you just go here and you do Reforge Chaos. You buy these. This is like 2 Chaos a click. And yeah, the only outcome is Chaos resistance for Chaos, so it guarantees that. And then on top of that, it gives you some other stuff. Level 83 is where you can get tier 1 Chaos res, which I didn't hit, but it's nice to have. But otherwise, you can take a Court Belt that's a little bit lower. I wouldn't really go lower than like 80-ish or so. As you can see right here, I didn't hit life, which is unfortunate, because that means I can't craft LE damage with attacks, and I only have 50 life, which is obviously embarrassing, very, very low, but it did roll with 2 other resistances, so I just kept it for now. For weapon, this is what I completed campaign with, and what I basically had forever. It has a little bit of crit chance and a tiny bit of flat damage. Now, that is not really necessary. I replaced it somewhere in red maps. I just bought a new one for, I think, like 10 chaos or so, or 15 chaos or whatever it was. But in terms of how you want to craft it, if you want to craft it on your own, you go here and you grab yourself a Deafening or Shrieking Wrath Essence. I'm pretty sure the Deafening one is pretty expensive right now. It's like 8 chaos each. But yeah, the other one is very, very cheap. And you're going to get something here, right? Like, you probably want to use a Deafening eventually. Maybe if you can get a good Fracture. But right now, this is what I'm working with. And as you can see right here, I already have 3 Void Stones going up to Maven soon. Before Maven, I'm most likely crafting a wand. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. And at the end here, do not forget Chaos Res. You can see right here, I'm currently at around about 30 Chaos Res, which means I got 90 Chaos Res in total. 2 of these are from the Amethyst Ring. Amethyst Ring base is one of the easiest and most efficient ways to get Chaos Res. And then you can do stuff like the Hybrid Craft. As I said, Hybrid Craft, this one is not Hybrid Chaos. But then I also have the Reforged Chaos on the Court Belt. Other than that, I'm trying to think if there's anything important. Oh, you probably want 1 roll of accuracy somewhere, most likely on your ring. If you don't have that, there's actually a new cluster here that I have not used yet because I didn't need to, and points are obviously valuable. But you could go for Glory of Command and get some global accuracy rating. Your totems do count as an ally, so you would get 40%, 50, 56% accuracy for free points, and you could maybe even dip into the mastery. Only do this if you just cannot find a good ring with a good accuracy roll though. Otherwise, I would never do this. My rings are absolutely terrible. You will also need 1 jewelry piece or anything with dexterity. As you can see right here, I have 119, which is, I think, exactly what I need. So there you go. Also make sure that you have a warped timepiece. Now, warped timepiece, as I said, is not really that important to get unless you have the attack speed that you need. As always, you can go to the calcs right here and see if you're actually fine. So I'll show you this with my current POB. Attack rate 3.23, maximum effective APS 3.37. Now, if you, for example, don't have +1 projectile, or you anoint Hasty Demise right here, then you might not need the warp timepiece at all. That is something you have to figure out. If you don't know how that works, once again, I can't make the same video 10 times. Watch the main guide about Kinetic Fusillade mechanics. After that, I have a good helmet, just armor, energy shield, life, resistances, everything you want. This shield I actually found during campaign. I think it was around level 40, and I just never, didn't wear it. So I might get another shield before I get Aegis, but this one just did me really well. So I just never replaced it. Same with these boots. I bought them for like, I don't know, 5-10 chaos. Never really looked back. Now, other than that, do level some Kinetic Fusillade in your offhand. If you don't know, there is a new coin that makes it so you can get a 7th support gem on your skill. So it will imbue it with another support, and that only works on a level 20 gem. So that means you want to have offhand Kinetic Fusillades that you level up, then you quality them, and then you try and corrupt them into a good imbue, and otherwise you brick it and you go again. As for gems, it's pretty straightforward. I have Kinetic Fusillade with less duration. I don't have 20 quality just yet, but soon. Greater Volley, self-explanatory. Like I said, volatility and LE damage with attack. Only go volatility if you go Wrath, otherwise go LE damage with attacks. Ballista Totem support, get this one up as soon as possible. The levels increase the HP of the Ballista, and then increased critical damage at the end. Here I have a cast on crit frenzy with LE weakness. If your LE weakness does not proc, that probably means that you don't have enough mana open, because it does still consume its mana, just so you're aware. Other than that, do I have anything fancy? Oh yeah, I did put Summon Stone Golem in my cast on damage taken. It's a little bit of nice extra 100 regen. It's not a big deal. I didn't really know what else to do with this right now. Tomorrow, I'm going to make a little bit more of a fancy Arcanist brand setup. I'll show you that then. My auras are still Tempest Shield, Determination, and Wrath or Anger, whatever you want. Flame Wall right here. I don't even have more duration on it. I just place it so that the totems can fire through. And then I have Shield Charge with Momentum, faster attacks. On the passive tree, extremely important. A lot of people say that their totems are dying too fast. And to an extent, that's normal. That is why we have a lot of placement speed. That is what happens. And that's why you replace them really fast, right? But if you don't even have these two nodes, if you're like, oh, pal, but this is damage. Well, your totem start at 40 res. This gets it to 72% res. That kind of doubles its EHP against LE damage. So if you don't have this, and you even get totem life, right? In total here, you get 60% totem life. They're like round about double to triple as tanky as before. So if you don't take that, yeah, they're going to get destroyed. Otherwise, make sure that you get the spell block as soon as possible, especially if you're feeling squishy. All these spell block nodes, there's not a single item you have to get spell block capped. I am right now 78% spell block capped, and yeah, I don't have anything other than these clusters. That is just that. And other than that, I just went down here. This tree will be quite respect once I have a cluster set up. But yeah, right now I don't have the monies for that. And I don't think I did anything else differently. Now, let's quickly talk Atlas progression. I want to give you guys a little bit of guidance, at least throughout day one, with stuff that I had to kind of figure out myself. First up, everything is on the Atlas somewhere. What does that mean? You don't have a map device where you just throw in your Polaric Void to fight the boss. You actually have to path here. So you have to do you're going to go out here in the Fog of War, and you're going to have to get to Haunted Mansion, and then you click on Polaric Void, and then you can pull it in if you have it from the quest, right? That's how it works. And also make sure that you have your quest tracker on. Otherwise, this could be a little bit confusing. Enable quest tracking here in UI. Oh yeah, and also confusing. These here are exactly the same as these here. So, for example, if you do this and I click this, you can see it swapped here. These are exactly the same. These have nothing to do with regional or anything. It's the same thing. It's influence, like it used to be on the map device. And once again, you can see right here, if I click on this, here you can put it in, but you have to first path here. Okay, so that's a little bit confusing. Then the other confusing part is there's different quadrants here, and you have to kind of get to the outskirts. And this is where you get the Void Stones. And you can see right here, this is Maven, which I haven't done yet. And these are the other ones. So, for example, the Decayed Void Stone, you need to do both Shaper and Elder, but you don't need to do Uber Elder anymore. Important to know. So these fights are a lot easier, and you also don't necessarily need to even put Maven on, because you can do Feared way later. Feared now, the only thing it gives is one Atlas passive point, so you don't have to like struggle with Shaper or anything like that. And then you have the, whatever they're called, the Dread Bosses. Moment of Loneliness, Moment of Trauma, and Moment of Reverence. For that, you have to go here. You have to find the memory strands. Once again, follow the quest line on the right side. And the only thing I want to say here is that it's, I think, quite important where you go first. So down here, for one Void Stone, you have to now both kill Exarch and Eater. And this one is the easiest, in my personal opinion. I will only talk about this build. So go left bottom first. After that, go right top, which is Shaper and Elder, which is easier than top left, which is the Dread stuff, and then bottom right at the end, which is Maven. I think that this is the smoothest progression, but you do what you do. The next one is the Freeze Immunity Pantheon. So Soul of the Brine King has chance to avoid being frozen, and one of the biggest killers is of this build is that you're not fully ailment immune. However, you do have Tempest Shield, which makes you shock immune, and you can get reduced effective chill here, and then you can also get immune to freeze. One other thing I want to note is you can also get immune to ignite here if you want to remove the damage and go for the maximum endurance charge, and you cannot be ignited either. So then you're basically, unless we're talking alt ailments, you're immune. But okay, so if you hover over, it says Merveil the Returned. And if you don't know, because you're still in the Fog of War and you don't know where to go, Merveil the Returned is right here at the Underground Sea. So even though I said go Maven last, you still want to path at least these 3 maps over here. Do an Underground Sea tier 6 with the usual Divine Vessel. You know the drill. and get yourself that immune to freeze. It's going to feel so good. And at the end, I also want to talk about Breach real quickly because I've been speccing into it, like I said, on day one, and I've already specced out of it. Now I'm into Hives and I don't like it too much either. Maybe I'm just getting unlucky. I'm not going to say that that's not true. I know some people who hit some big ticket items and they like Breach. Most people are lukewarm on it or say it sucks. So just telling you right now, this is the trio I was running. I haven't really gotten any 6-links. I haven't really gotten anything crazy. I haven't really sold much. Haven't gotten any crazy unique. Yeah, the nodes here, for example, got nerfed quite a bit. It doesn't reroll your links 150 times anymore. It only does it 50 times. So you're going to get a lot less 6-links, if even. And then here, I don't know, I'm just not getting a lot. Some of these nodes also got toned down. The extra item, the extra chance to be foulborn. Overall, Breach is just very much whatever. And also the problem with Breach is that while you're completing the Atlas, there's just a lot of shit layouts. And do you really want to do a Breach where it's like claustrophobic and you're inside and the mobs are stuck behind a corner? Yeah. Also no. Also, I just want to note this. Unstable breaches, which are the normal breaches, give barely any graph blood now. You have to do like 3 unstable breaches to hand in 1 womb gift. It is like abysmal. The Hives, on the other hand, give like 1,400, so you can actually hand in 1 womb gift whenever you do one. So yeah, if you want to do Hives, but then you have to do with walls, it's a lot better than it used to be. Obviously, a lot more comfier. But then you have to like stand there and kind of chill, sort of like Blight. If you're into that, then go for it. I'm a little bit disappointed right now about the whole Breach rework. But that's about all I got. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about wand crafting. We're going to talk about progressing. I'm going to do Maven. I'm going to get everything completed, and then I'll have probably a little bit more interesting Atlas strat that isn't absolute doo-doo. And if you already got baited into Breach just like me, then use your second Atlas passive tree. As you know, you have up to 3 Atlas passive tree at your disposal. You do not need to use your Orb of Unmakings to respec. And yeah, so far this build has just been like butter. Absolutely amazing. I don't even know what to say. I will be updating for at least 2 or 3 more videos and give you guys a little bit more guidance. Like I said, I am going to use this build as unlocking everything, then doing a solid farming strat and farming for whatever I'm going to do next. But I'm thoroughly enjoying this. And if you were kind of on the fence before, just know that the totem placement speed changes are simply ridiculous. And I cannot see a world where you don't like playing this version of the build, at least to get to your 4 stones and unlock everything. But yeah, either way, hope you guys' league start went well. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. And since I still don't have a slogan, see you next time.